So despite every ban list hitting Umi Control indirectly, and our consistency hit taking a nosedive, even in the current meta, Umi Control is still hitting Master rank. So taking a look at the deck list, we're adding Triple Tactics Thrust. This card increases our consistency going second, because we can use it to add cards like Fish Sonar to search for Electric Jellyfish or Kyrishin, or Foolish Goods to search for Kyrishin if our opponent has negated Fish Sonar, or we can add Pot of Prosperity or Triple Tactics Talents to draw cards. Thrust will also increase our ability to go second. We've added one of each board breaker like Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm evenly matched, and a very important board breaker, Herald of the Abyss. This is our out to X purely Nyor. You can pay 1500 life points and declare one monster type and one attribute, and your opponent must send a monster from their side of the field to the graveyard. And because the player sends the card to the graveyard, you can use it to out cards like Unaffected by Card Effects, since a card effect is not the thing sending it to the graveyard. Another board breaker that I'm using, it's optional, you don't have to use this, but Ultimate Slayer. Using Ultimate Slayer, I can send a Fusion, Synchro, Eggsy, Pendulum, or Link monster from my extra deck to the graveyard. Then I can target one monster my opponent controls with the same type and shuffle it back into the deck. My extra deck monsters all have effects when sent to the graveyard. I'm using Elder Entity for my fusions, which can destroy one card on the field. I'm using Garua to draw one card. I'm using Wind Pegasus. If my opponent destroys any of my monsters through battle or card destruction, then I can target one of my opponent's cards and shuffle it back into the deck. I'm using Mereologic Aggregator for my Eggsy. This will let me target one face-up card on the field and negate its effects until the end of the turn. And for my Link, I'm using Tri-Brigade Arms Bucephalus. This will let me send a beast from my extra deck to the graveyard, so I'm going to use it to send Garura to the extra deck and draw a card. In the extra deck, we also have Baguska. Sometimes you may have two jellyfishes on the field and you need to go to a Baguska to stall, so that's there as an option. And we also have Zeus, because you can steal your opponent's Eggsys with Triple Tactics Talents and then turn them into a Zeus. If you steal a Shangri-La, then you can Eggsy summon using that Shangri-La to go into an Arise Heart and then go into a Zeus. Another board breaker we're using is Kashtira Fenrir. This card, you can just special summon it, and if for some reason you don't have another way to get Kyrishin on the field, then you can just tribute summon the Fenrir by normal summoning the Kyrishin. So the win condition of this deck is summoning Kyrishin, and our base consistency to summon Kyrishin involves using just our Umi cards and our pot cards, Extravagance and Pot of Prosperity. Going first, our consistency is 64%. That is really low. To put things in perspective, meta decks have a 90% or higher consistency. Going second is 75%, and you can increase it to 91% if you include Triple Tactics Thrust. When we add Reasoning to the deck, our maximum consistency jumps up to 81%, assuming that Reasoning is always successful when we draw it, so we get an average success rate of about 73%. And going second, our average is 94%. When we go second, we have access to 13 board breakers, not including Kyrishin. Drawing at least one board breaker, we have about 95%. And drawing at least two board breakers is 75%. Kyrishin itself is a board breaker, so when we include it, it jumps up to 99% and 97%. So after reaching Master Rank with this deck, I concluded that most of my losses were going first from bricking. And yes, despite the low consistency going first, I do still play going first with this deck rather than playing a blind second variant. With decks like X-Curly, Labrynth, and Mathmech running around, I just wouldn't want to go second. Although all three of these decks just got hit by the December ban list, so things may change next month. So we're going to take a look at another way to play this deck by adding 3 Floodgates, 1 Goes in Match, and 2 There Can Only Be 1. Goes in Match and There Can Only Be 1 are the best Floodgates because they can also break boards. When we add them to the deck, we have an 85% consistency going first, which jumps up to 93% if we add Reasoning to the deck. Now going second, we're not counting Goes in Match and TCBoo as board breakers because they're too slow. So with 10 board breakers in this deck, with Kyrishin, we're still breaking 90% consistency. So in all these replays, I'm going second just to show you a little bit different way of playing Umi Control, since we often usually just go first in Floodgate, and that's not as fun as showing replays of us going second. So we're just going to ignore the Super Poly in my hand. It was just a board breaker I was testing because it seemed useful against Labrynth and Mathmech. So we're going to use Pot of Prosperity to add Fenrir to the hand. And while a Rise Heart is on the field, any card sent to the graveyard will be banished. Then a Rise Heart will target one banished card and attach it as material. So I do a misplay here and special summon the Fenrir, and they use a Right Heart to banish that Fenrir face down. I meant to activate Triple Tactics Thrust, so we're going to activate that now. Thrust will add Fish Sonar to the hand, and before we activate our talents to steal the Rise Heart, we want to build up its materials, so we're going to use Fish Sonar to add Jellyfish to the hand. A Rise Heart will then attach another banished card as material. Now we can activate the Triple Tactics talent, choose the second effective talents to take control of one of our opponent's monsters. We'll activate a Rise Heart again to attach another card to it as material, and then we're going to go into the battle phase, attack and do a little bit of damage, and then enter the main phase 2 so we can do what you already know what I'm going to do here. We're going to overlay a Rise Heart into our 6 material Zeus, and then we're just going to wipe the board, and now we can use our Jellyfish to summon our Kashtira, and the opponent's going to surrender. So in this next match, we're going second against Sprights, hopefully to bait out an Ash Blossom or Sprite Carrot, and they don't fall for it. They activate a Maxi in response, and they guess level 4. I don't know why, but a lot of people have been guessing level 4 lately. I don't know if it's because they keep running into Umi Control or not. The thing is, I don't use the Marincess Field Zone or any water sleeves because I don't want anyone to know that I'm playing a water deck, so when I activate Reasoning, they don't think I'm playing Umi Control. So we get lucky here and summon Kashtira. Now we can activate a Legendary Ocean from the hand, surprise Gyarados face, use Hydro Pump. Kashtira wipes the board before the opponent can respond to it. Now we can activate the Harpy's Feather Duster and the opponent scoops. Now this next replay is up against Labrynth, our worst matchup, and this is because they have Big Welcome. Labrynth, a trap card that can banish itself from the graveyard to target one card on the field and return it to the hand. They can use it to return any of our back row cards or Kashtira back to the hand and then completely break our board. In this replay, the opponent's going to do something even nastier. They're going to flip over Eradicator Epidemic Virus, tributing one of their monsters, declaring spells, and then destroying all spells in my hand, then destroying another card with Lady Labrynth. So we're up against Dragon Link, and Kashtira hits the field, wiping the board. We activate Kyrish's effect to search for Sea Stealth Attack, and the opponent ashes us, so our monsters will not have any protection. The opponent has a Synchro monster called Chaos Angel that's normally unaffected by monster effects, but it wasn't Synchro summoned using a light monster, so we can use 2 Jellyfishes to Exi summon into Baguska and change the position of all monsters on the field to defense position. Baguska also negates the activation of effects while in defense position. Kashtira's Floodgate is a continuous effect and not an activated effect, so it is unaffected by Baguska. We don't need to stall anymore, so we're going to switch Baguska into attack position, turning off its effects and allowing us to activate the effects of Kashtira to search for Sea Stealth Attack. Reasoning summon Kashtira from the deck, we'll banish the Ice Barrier in the graveyard, send a Whale to the graveyard to add a Jellyfish to the hand, and then normal summon the Jellyfish. We could use Jellyfish to special summon the General Ryo from the hand, but we're going to need the space on the field for our Mega Fortress Whale. Flipping over the Sea Stealth Attack will activate Umi from the graveyard. The opponent will then switch their Chaos Angel into attack position, and on the beginning of the battle phase, will special summon the Mega Fortress Whale from the graveyard and pop their Chaos Angel. The opponent then activates a Bestial from the hand to banish one card from the graveyard to special summon it, and we're going to negate it with Jellyfish. We can activate Jellyfish to then negate the effect of that Bestial monster, so now they don't have any monsters on the field. Before the battle phase ends, we'll activate our Sea Stealth Attack to banish the Mega Fortress Whale so we can keep it for the following turn. So the opponent's just swapping dragons around so they can get a face-up Bestial monster on the field, so then their trap card is active. The branded trap card requires that you control 1 Lubellian monster so you can tribute 1 dragon and then destroy any card on the field. On our main phase 1, we'll activate Mega Fortress Whale so we can attack directly this turn, then we'll tribute summon the Baguska with General Ryo, so even if they pop one of our monsters with their trap card, they can't stop all of us. So we'll banish the Whale with Sea Stealth Attack, and then go into the battle phase. We'll negate the Maxi with Jellyfish. General Ryo will negate this effect, and it's game over from here. So what do you guys think of Umi Control? Are you surprised that Umi Control can still put up a fight despite all the consistency hits? So that's all for now. I'll see you guys next time.